In our interview this week, the Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Sani Aliyu, provides insights into government's efforts to stop the spread of HIV infections. Dr. Sani Aliyu, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Gloria.
Let's take a look at the HIV/AIDS prevalence rate in Nigeria. Some still say we're working with the 2014 figures, which is about 3.17%. What exactly? Just bring us up to speed with this.
When we talk about the number of people on treatment at the moment, we have upscaled considerably. We have well over 1 million Nigerians now on treatment, about 1,050,000. We estimate that we have possibly a burden of about 3 million Nigerians at the moment living with HIV. The prevalence still remains at around 3.2%, but we're going to do a major survey with our partners in 2018 that would establish the true prevalence of HIV in the country. It will give us more precise estimates. Both the US government and Global Fund will be spending about $100 million on the project. Hopefully by the end of the year, by December, before the elections, we'll have the survey done, and I'll be able to tell you more precisely what the true burden of HIV is in the country and at state level as well.
Recently, you're asking states to put forward 1% of their budget towards the fight against the disease. So are you getting any feedback? Where are we at the moment?
So the problem with the funding issue really is that once you have HIV, you need to be on treatment. I need to be on treatment for life. We have 1 million Nigerians currently on treatment. 60,000 are paid for by the federal government. About close to 1 million are paid for by our donors, principally the US government through their PEPFAR program and Global Fund. Those 1 million Nigerians are not going to go away. They will still require treatment for the rest of their lives. We have another 2 million that need to go on treatment. Who's going to pay for these people in the next 5-10 years when these programs come to an end? Because come to an end they will. There is no development program that's open-ended, and that's why we are starting this conversation fairly early on with the state governors. Some of these states are high burden states where virtually all the people living with HIV are being supported for by partners. And I don't think that's a good situation for any country to be in, because essentially you are mortgaging the future of your citizens to a foreign program.
Do you get a sense of seriousness from the states regarding your request?
Some states are really doing well. So Lagos, for instance, Kaduna, for instance, they are really pace setters. They know what the problem is and they are grabbing the issue and running with it. I can't say the same with all states, but we are already doing a lot of high-level advocacy work. And to be fair to the governors, some of the governors I've met express surprise at the issues in their states. So sometimes maybe it's just that the awareness may not necessarily be there, or maybe it's the competing priorities as well. And we know there are competing priorities. Government has. There are other things that government have to deliver to their citizens. But health is the main one. Because if you are not healthy, Gloria, you'll not be sitting here. And that's at the individual level. At the national level, if you extend that, if you're not healthy as a nation, you're not going to get progress. So sorting out the health issues in the country, particularly the HIV issues, it's really important when it comes to development.
Discrimination is another major issue. Do you think you're doing enough to sensitize people against this?
I'm pleased to say that I think over time the stigma and discrimination in terms of HIV, it's really coming down. There's still a lot going on, but as you're probably aware, we have a law against stigma and discrimination. Organizations are no longer allowed to discriminate on the basis of HIV. People living with HIV are entitled to employment. They are entitled to the right to live just like everybody else. They just happen to have a virus, because HIV is just a virus. It's just like hepatitis B or hepatitis C. So if you're unfortunate enough to have picked the virus, that doesn't mean that you're any less human. So stigma and discrimination will still remain an issue for some time to come, but the good thing is, with the advent of antiretrovirals, people are no longer dying, people are no longer getting sick, and if you see a person living with HIV on the road on antiretrovirals, you wouldn't even say that that person looks any